It's what happens.
Craig Lee Buttercup, dude is a 4-star recruit. We've been winning with mainly 2 stars and sometimes 3 stars. Me thinks, oh boy, can't wait to see what Aranda does with these new guys.
Yeah, I mean, the more the merrier. The more talent, the better odds you have. I mean, leave it to the recruiting guys. They'll tell you they've got, articles already typed up they've been doing all over the years about how important stars are, right? Like as much as people want to sometimes say stars don't matter, they do, and recruiting reporters will be the first to, tell you how much they matter and show you the numbers and how many national champions average this number of 4 and 5 stars versus, basically all the rest of college football. And it's typically the same cats who always have the highest numbers. But if you can find a way to sneak up into that group, if you're Baylor, I mean, you've already proven you can hang with a lot of teams. You've already proven you can win titles. I mean, I do think the next step for them when they've now twice barely found themselves on the outside looking into the playoff, not only last year where you go, I don't know what happened in Fort Worth, but if you guys win that game, then you're probably in the college football playoff. I mean, that's how bad that loss was for them ultimately. Then again, maybe it spurred them on to finish the way that they did. But, they got that close, really just one game away. And then, of course, in 2014, they were, just a decision away, basically. And so they've been knocking on the door. The really problem for them has been just stability and just having the same person in charge for more than a couple of years. And so
there you go.
You've got Dave Aranda now, who's already matched, when he hits the field next year, will have matched Matt Rule's time at Baylor. And if he can surpass that and get closer to Art's time at Baylor and then get closer to a Grant Taft's time at Baylor, and all the while you're grabbing, occasional 4 stars and you add a couple each and every year to where all of a sudden, you're not just getting a couple in a class, you're getting 6 or 7 guys in a class perhaps because you're winning and you're being consistent, and that's how you do it. And hopefully along the way, maybe you stumble upon that once-in-a-generation quarterback like Art Briles did where, it just flips everything and takes it to a whole nother level, or a player of that kind of caliber, quarterback or not. So, yeah, they're building, and they're building with really sturdy blocks, and I think that tight ends especially see that Grimes offense and what they're trying to do, and it's attractive to them, and that's why they're having success with it.
And you also are then you're also building levels of them. As you mentioned, 6 in one year, then 6 in the next thing you know, you have half your rosters in that realm, and again, there's a reason, although sometimes the stars can also be a little bit,
Well, I think the stars don't matter comment is only relevant if the coaches that are recruiting them can't develop them. It's the Texas Longhorn argument right now, in that they've had coaches, not so much Mac Brown, but maybe Mac Brown a little at the end, and then Charlie Strong and Tom Herman, who could get plenty of 4 and 5 star guys in the room, but they stayed the same as they were when they were 17, 18, and 19 years old. And by the time they're 21, 22, 23, they weren't any better. So stars matter if you're Nick Saban and can develop them, if you're Kirby Smart and can develop them, if you're Dabo Swinney and can develop them, if you're putting guys in the league and doing those things. If stars don't matter, or I wouldn't say they don't matter, but you can negate it if you can't develop guys to be better than they were when they got there.
Even Texas fans, you're starting, and we've discussed the podcast and some things that have been said. I don't know why it's taken so long. They're finally realizing that. The fans are starting to realize, and it's been a while, no question about it.
Yeah, I think that comment's kind of overrated, though, because it's not as though they don't develop anybody. And this kind of goes back to a little tiff we had like a year ago or whatever. I mean, I just think they have so many of them. Like, they get 10 4-stars in a class. So then 2 of them don't pan out, and you go, see, they can't develop guys. And it's like, well, there probably are guys that do develop that we don't give enough credit to, a Sam Ellinger or whatever. It's just that, it reaches a certain ceiling, and that ceiling's not a national championship. So anything short of that, or a Big 12 championship, they're not they haven't grabbed as of late. So when those things aren't ending up in the trophy cases, and then you point out, a couple guys didn't pan out, and then they don't know how to develop, and they don't, and it's
right.
not. I think it's a combination of things. I think it's been coaching at times. I think it's been arrogance a lot of the times. I think it's been at times, maybe some overrated talent or just not the right quarterback or whatever the case may be. But they're far from the only team that's dealt with that. I mean, they're just the easiest punching bag, quite frankly. They're the Dallas Cowboys of college football in a lot of ways. But yeah, I mean, it's all about developing talent. You can get all the guys that you want, but if they don't get better once they get on campus, then it's all really for naught, because nobody just grabs 10 4-stars in this class and then 10 in that class and they just throw them out there and play. No, eventually coaching comes into play as well. So the teams that can recruit well and coach well, I mean, those are your champions year in and year out, and those are the teams contending. And I think we know that the coaching thing is taken care of at Baylor right now, and the talent thing is now starting to multiply as well. So they're on a good track. They've got a good foundation, and now it's just about building off that, and you do that by getting guys like Matthew Klopfenstein like they did today.
Grayson with a note today, and Ashley Hodge